I want a sandwich. Now. Oh, sandwich wench. Yo, wench. Sandwich. Now. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. Oh, sandwich wench. I want a sandwich. Sandwich.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another political recap stream here on the Moisky Live channel. Talking about some things, I guess we know what. Joining me anyway to do that, I need to phrase that properly. Talking about some stuff today is my friend and co-host Trups. Say hello, Trups.
Hello, Trups.
There we go. Sorry,
Thank you.
It wasn't the most whelming of cork pops. It's a bit dry, I need to moisten it. How is Trups?
Oh, Trups is all right. Nothing overly surprising. Well, okay. I did do one thing that at least warrants communication.
Okay.
I'm notorious about forgetting things. You see.
Shocking.
Yes. Well, I had a doctor's lab order to go and do. And I had to get some blood drawn for it. I had neglected to actually look at just how much. So, 12 vials later, and I was like, that's, my arm's sore. That hurts.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
I'm not a fan.
I understand that. It's not for everyone.
It's not a good time to do all that fucking bullshit. At least the nurse is very kind. Like it's the same nurse I've always like seen and been around whenever I go get my labs done.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a delight. But other than that, like, I hate having to get my blood drawn. It's very unpleasant.
I've only ever had done once before. I'm not a fan myself, but I don't really take issue of it. It's a thing. No one likes to be near people who touch your stuff, do you?
Well, it was more like just because it was 12 vials. Like a typical, like, let's say you were like a cholesterol kind of panel, right? That kind of a panel would be like 2 or 3. 12 is a lot.
I'm going to take your word for it because I'm not too familiar with drawing blood. I hope your blood comes back clean and there's nothing wrong with you, and that you are all you need is an oil change.
Yeah, apparently. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
What about you? What have you been up to?
Well, it was my birthday on Monday.
Happy birthday.
38. Thank you. I was 38. I am 38. I got given this really interesting fidget box that unfolds and you can make it into many shapes.
Oh, lovely.
So naturally, 24 hours later, when I bothered to pick it up again, after my friend Dave had dismantled, he made it into all the shapes you can.
Mm-hmm.
I decided, nah, fam. And I put it back. So it's now a cube again. That was fun. And I live streamed. I got a new bottle of whiskey for my birthday, which is a tradition. Birthday whiskey is a thing I've been doing since I was 23 years old. And mostly making videos. I'm getting ready to go to Norwich on Monday. Going there until Wednesday to hang out at Dave's place for a change. We're going to do a Johnny Walker stream. We did some streams here, in fact. We did one on Saturday for the Jamesons. We went through that. That was fun. In the bar. The very first stream hosted in the bar, in fact. And we did a McCullen stream on Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. And that was also a lot of fun in the bar. And we had a great time. Beyond that, it's just been work and more work. Really, obviously, I went to a was it Friday last week? I think I went to a funeral. I think I did. Yeah, last Thursday or Friday I went to a funeral as well. So hanging out with my dad a bit more just to see how he's doing, how he's getting on, make sure he's okay. I said a nice thing and made him happy, so that's what. And I got a new phone. I upgraded my phone.
Oh, good.
I've gone from the Pixel 6 to the Pixel 8, which sounds wrong. Obviously, it sounds like Pixel 8, as opposed to Google Pixel 8.
Yes, number.
Yes. And I haven't finished installing everything. It transfers everything over, but it hasn't transferred any of my user information, which is kind of a pain in the ass. Before we continue, hello to Michael, who was very kind enough to us to be pedantic enough to say, after I wrote, remember to like the stream, but it's not on yet. Hello, Michael. Hope you're well. Hello, I can't pronounce your name. I'm going to go with Shirayuki. And hello, G-Dubs. Hope you're well. Hope everyone's having a fantastic week and Friday, and hope you're all looking forward to your weekends, doing whatever it is you do on your weekends. And you're you're 1 month older than me. Right,
oh,
you lucky bastard. I think.
Well, where else could be me?
Yeah, well, you're a young'un. You are.
Yes, I am. And somebody in my in the Discord that I hang out with my friends liked to comment that I will be closing in on the 30 here shortly.
Oh, really?
Not this year, but next. It's that I turn 29 this year, and then I become old, apparently.
Yes, that's a thing on my server. The moment people turn 30, suddenly they're old. Hello, Director Arcata. Hope you are, buddy.
Hey, Arcata.
But yeah, I don't agree with that in the slightest. I'm 38 and I don't feel it. I don't feel old. I'm not slow. I'm not seizing up. I just no. I have no issue at all, really. Very
right.
Maybe it's an active thing because I don't like to not do things. It's why when I like going to Norwich for a few days, I hate part of it because I know I won't be doing as much. But I don't mind at the same time because I kind of haven't had a chance to have a lay-in a while. So
yes.
So I won't have to wake up at 6:30 for work every day. So that's a win. Anyway, where should we start today? Because obviously the thumbnail, the title is the Iowa Caucus. We can obviously save that for later. What has been going on in your neck of the woods that might be worth discussing?
Well, we've had a couple of things go on recently.
I'd heard about a few things popping off here and there, like Millet talking.
Yes. Yeah. You did have Davos, which is always a time.
I might have
certainly.
I've got some quotes from that. I might be able to pull up actually. Well, not for this. Oh, actually, I can probably do it for stream. If my phone will actually obey me for a second. My computer. Sorry, I had all these sources for Millet because Dankula had gotten the quotes, hadn't he?
Oh yes.
What Millet had said, and it was, I mean, it was quite funny. That's not Dankula's tweet. Where is it? That's Colin Rugg. There's Dankula. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna switch scene to the screen capture. Yeah, it's a bit blank. Sorry, I hadn't set this up. But for those who don't know, the new Argentina president had been speaking recently, and it was quite funny. But Dankula wrote here, I was really disappointed when I found out Javier Milei was going to the is it World Economic Forum Summit?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I got a few minutes into his speech, and he's just telling them that everything they are doing is wrong and effed up and the root of all the world's problems. He's pulling a Gervais at the Golden Globes. He has just shit all over their socialist model and told them free market capitalism is the only way forward. I think he just Trojan horsed them to shit all over their ideology to their faces, but I'm going to watch the rest. He's now pulling out the stats and saying how from year 0 to about 1800, GDP was at rock bottom and never increased during that time, and the only thing that changed was this free market capitalism. He is going hard with these stats. The crowd is effing squirming. Also, Lamel comments are turned off. Free market capitalism and trade is the only way to end hunger and poverty across our planet. The empirical evidence is unquestionable. Quote from him, by the way. The man is effing railing everything the WEF stands for to their faces. Quote, the state is financed through coercion. Man said taxation is theft. Oh, shit. He's now expecting...
We love him for that.
Honestly, I saw a tweet, actually. Arcto, remember this? He retweeted it. It was a tweet of a side profile cartoon of Trump and one of Milei. And the remark was that Milei's done more in a few weeks than Trump ever did in 4 years. And I think Arcto, he had said something about Cayenne. Thank you, Cayenne. Thank you. I'm English. We don't understand that. He is now asking them why anyone could be against the system of free market capitalism, which has a proven track record of lifting people out of poverty. He is now talking about libertarianism and telling the crowd its core values. Each core value is something the WEF is against. He has said, there are those who seek to undermine everyone's freedom for their own personal power and condemn the world to poverty and stagnation. He didn't point any fingers, but he's clear he's talking about the World Economic Forum. I think he's being careful so he doesn't get pulled off stage. Nice.
Honestly, it's great seeing somebody like that. Obviously somebody who was elected, and there was a much hubbub about his.
Well, there's more, and there's even a video as well.
Oh dear.
So here we go. Let's go. Where was I? Quote, it should never be forgotten that socialism is always and everywhere an impoverishing phenomenon and has failed in all countries where it has been tried out. He is nuking them. He is now describing how market failures are almost always caused by state regulations and interference. I'm loving this so far.
Mm-hmm.
The World Economic Forum wants complete totalitarian control of the market. I disagree with that fundamentally. They should never have that kind of power. Whenever you want to correct a supposed market failure inexorably as a result of not knowing what the market is or as a result of having fallen in love with a failed model, you are opening up the doors to socialism and condemning people to poverty. Somebody in that room is sweating. Schwab. All that base feminism radical agenda has led to is a greater state intervention to hinder the economic process, giving a job to bureaucrats who have not contributed anything to society. Examples are international organizations committed to pushing this agenda. He is now talking about how neo-Marxists have co-opted all of our institutions. In his closing statement, do not be intimidated either by the political class or by parasites who live off the state. Do not surrender to a political class that only wants to stay in power and retain its privileges. Do not surrender to the advance of the state. The state is not the solution. The state is the problem itself. Speech finished. Yeah, he completely Trojan horsed them. He spent the whole time shitting all over the WEF's ideals and goals without outright naming them. Even breaking out empirical evidence to prove that the economic model the World Economic Forum wants does not work. This was amazing, especially after seeing Klaus Schwab shitting and farting about the dangers of libertarianism just a few weeks ago. That guy's a joke, by the way. Javi goes into his house and starts preaching it, and then there's a full translated speech link underneath. But then there's a video underneath where it's translated. Asking him what his purpose with the trip to Davos is, and I'm going to play it for everyone to listen to.
Plantar las ideas de la libertad en un foro que está contaminado de la Agenda Socialista 2030 y que lo único que va a traer es miseria al mundo. Que la libertad es la llave de la prosperidad. Seguir hablando y dejándole bien claro de la convicción que tenemos en este cambio de rumbo que ha marcado el nuevo gobierno.
This guy absolutely slaughters them. And he outright says what his plan was from the offset. And I love it.
They shouldn't have ever assumed that he was going to be anything other than that. He was never anything but sorry, hang on, I have to mute myself in your video.
Right.
Because I was listening to it through your through your stream.
Sorry, I can't play the audio through Discord.
No, you're good. I don't know why anyone would assume that this guy who literally started off his his presidency by basically saying, yeah, screw off all of you, the government bloat of this country. we're going to get rid of all of this and we're going to fix this problem. Like, why did anybody think that him showing up to the World Economic Forum was going to go any different than how it just went?
I think it's funny because he didn't accept them paying for his flight. He paid for a $2,000 ticket with his own money to fly in a commercial regular flight. Like, no fuss, no muss. President of Argentina doesn't take any kind of special treatment. He rocks up on a standard flight with his own money to shit on all of them and warn about the dangers of collectivism.
I love him for that.
I as long as he doesn't want the Falklands back, we're fine. Honestly, I think it's hilarious. I like people like this because at least I wish we had a guy like this in my politics.
It's a breath of fresh air, isn't it?
It's definitely a breath of fresh air. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you heard that I had a mild stroke.
I do. I regularly have these seizures when I record. I have the fortune to be able to edit it afterwards.
Ah, yes, live is fun.
Oh yeah, it's completely different. But I really like the fact that he did do exactly what Dankula said. He Trojan horsed that. I don't know why they ever thought he would be on their side. Surely they would have seen the video of him wanting to destroy every major department in government. He wants a small government. He does not believe in any of this. Like, how naive are you? He knows. He knows that he can't fix the problem without austerity. He knows he can't fix it without free market capitalism. His country's GDP is shite. He can't fix the problems unless he does something extreme. Government spending being reduced is one of them.
Well, of course. I would argue that government spending is one of the reasons why we have, overspending. Like, I know that kind of sounds like a no shit kind of situation, but
yes, it is. But I get you are right. It's just he pulled out all these government departments, and it was like the government departments that are just wasting money. It was like the toothbrushing thing again. £9 million in the UK to teach kids how to brush their teeth in school. It's like, no, fucking hell. Get your parents to do it.
Oh yeah.
Get the parents to do
it. Oh god, that's still funny to me.
It's embarrassing. That's what it is.
I mean, also true.
Doing less of it in my life.
True. But anyway.
I think it was a great way to start. I will, for those who are interested, I will link Dank's thread in the comment. I can't archive the whole thread, so I will, for those on YouTube, and if you watch some Rumble, I will have this linked as well. So you can read it and watch at your own viewing pleasure. This will obviously be on Rumble on Saturday, so the 20th of January, so please do check it out. It'll be sexified audio. We have 16 followers there as well. 16. We're doing so well.
One of them's me.
We have 15 legitimate followers.
Hey, look, if you don't support yourself, why would you expect anybody else to support?
We have 14. I follow it as well.
Okay, there you go. Nice.
Yes, I didn't realise that was... I just went and checked. Do you hear about the ostensible effort to ban large wine glasses in the UK? That sounds about right, but they'll never be able to get rid of such ideas or items because people can literally make their own stuff. Glass blowing is very popular. Custom sellers will do them a lot cheaper. If it's true, it's hilarious, but they are trying to clamp down on alcohol even harder, even though if they clamp down harder on alcohol, they're not actually dealing with the problem. They're just trying to say it's alcohol that's the problem, not realizing that sales are going down because the current generation don't care as much about alcohol as the older generations, like tattoos, for example. Like, bitch, learn your market. Younger people now don't care as much anymore about going out. That's why nightclubs are dying.
We had an issue kind of like that. Michael Bloomberg, the former New York City mayor, actually had tried to, in the past, tax or outright ban large, like extra large, big gulp sized drinks.
Really?
And this would happen like sports drinks, sweetened coffee, teas in restaurants, food carts, delis, concessions, movie theaters, etc. Right? He was trying to do it because obesity, diabetes, mortality, healthcare costs, that kind of stuff. But the thing is by comparison, if you were to buy a pack of cigarettes in New York versus a pack of cigarettes in Tennessee,
Yeah.
You would find that Tennessee's cigarettes cost a lot less. And the reason why is because they're trying to tax you out of being able to do it.
Right.
And basically what it shows is that the, once again, the privileged elite think that they are better than us and that we cannot be trusted with our own decisions. Even if they are detrimental to our health, those are our decisions to make.
It sounds so British the way you just said that, doesn't it? That is such... Well, it does, because that's nanny state enthusiasm, isn't it?
It would track because it was a Democrat policy, and Democrat policy is very much aligned. Well, okay, yeah, Democrat policy is very much aligned with how the larger European area handles their issues.
I don't agree with governments being as involved in an individual's life at all. I never have. Hello, Chaos. Hope you're well. Where's the child? You are failing. I'm disgraced by you, quite frankly. The lack of Chaos spawn is annoying me. But maybe come over there.
Is that almost a thing?
Chaos is trying to have a kid, yeah. We'll knock you up ourselves if we have to.
I cannot promise that.
We will not pay child support, nor will we be there.
I will volunteer Meg's efforts.
I'll volunteer my friend Dave. It's easier. Yeah, he's a stick. Anyway, yeah, no, I don't agree with the government being so involved in a life. Oh, nice. I don't agree with this level of control. Millet is absolutely right with what he's been saying actually about this totalitarian aspect of life. Hello, Orla. Hope you're well. I just think it's a very dangerous path. Well, I don't like the idea of trying to justify the government being given those powers either. Yeah. So the idea of banning large wine glasses to me is redundant because it's not who gives. Shut the fuck up. Like, don't try and control so much of a person's life. How about that? Be less of a bitch.
No.
If I could understand it if it was like banning an exceedingly large whiskey glass. Because there is a set size for a decent whiskey glass or a nosing glass. It's certainly not a wine glass. I get that. But wine, I'll be honest, some people just like a big glass of wine. It's perfectly fine, and it's their body, their bloody choice. Let them drink their wine however they like. Some people like it out of a box with a tap on the side. I don't care.
That is the most basic white bitch thing I've ever seen. But yes, you are allowed to do that.
A YouTuber, formerly the Satirtician, he used to drink. Oh, I don't know if he still does. He drinks wine from a box.
Box wine.
It was his thing. I've always stuck with whiskey, and I'm looking forward to going to Norwich and buying better whiskey. But yeah, it's a distraction, absolutely, Orla. Much like some of the policies coming to light of late as a gear up for election season, the distraction of that trying to get people's mind off the Rwanda bill. Are you familiar? You familiar? You don't know what the Rwanda bill is, no? Okay.
No, I don't.
So the Rwanda bill is a asylum and immigration bill being pushed through the House of Commons. There was a rebellion this week from some Conservatives. It failed miserably. MPs from the Conservatives threatened to vote against the safety of Rwanda deportation bill on the grounds that the government plans to send some asylum seekers to Rwanda were not robust enough to survive legal challenges. Only 11 Conservatives rebelled, and the legislation passed by a vote of 320 to 276. It was a comfortable win for them. You like beer from a bottle, Chaos. Until you have a child, you are drinking nothing! So,
well,
stout afterwards, though. Hi, Leona. Hope you're well. Rishi Sunak has made his anti-immigration Stop Boats campaign central to his government's current legislative program, as he's trying to deter asylum seekers from trying to reach the UK across the English Channel. Problem with that is, I live near this channel area, right? I've seen a boat rock up at least once every other day, and people have gotten off that boat and dispersed into the crowd. People here don't like it, but we can't stop them. We're not allowed to, because nanny state enthusiasm means we're not asked to defend ourselves from invaders. In November, the Supreme Court struck down the original bill, and after it ruled that the landlocked African Republic was not a safe country for asylum seekers. I take a very different view. Firstly, I don't care where they go, they shouldn't be here. Simple as that. If you are illegally entering this country, I don't care where you go next, as long as it's not in the UK. Yeah? So instead, they introduced a Safety of Rwanda bill. The new bill is intended to make it harder for the courts to challenge the legislation by asking the House of Commons to declare by majority vote that Rwanda is indeed a safe country for asylum seekers. I love that. We can't get this bill through to send them to Rwanda. So what we're going to do is we're going to overrule the courts by having Parliament overrule them, which, by the way, is a massive overreach of power. That really, no government should be allowed to overrule it. If they could do that, when Boris Johnson prorogued Parliament, he should have just pushed it through and said, well, Parliament's not here, but the MPs that are here, we're going to quickly have a little vote to overrule the court. Okay? Like, bitch, that's not how you should do that. That's not acceptable. You shouldn't be allowed to do something like that. That is a Mickey Mouse idea. I don't agree with this idea of going round the court. I think it's a terrible precedent because it will tell me you are willing to do that when you don't get your own way. It's like Theresa May, who didn't get her own way on, I think it was on Syria, invading Syria or something, and she decided to airstrike it instead and to deal with the chlorine gas bombs. Like, bitch, that was it her? Yeah. Like, no. You don't ignore everyone else and then just say, well, we have enough evidence to say that they've got it, so we're just going to do it anyway. Like, that's not just, you don't do it because you think you're right, and you don't go round them by saying that they're wrong. It's not a valid point, and they have a point. Rwanda is not exactly the safest country to go to, but at the same time, I understand why, because they'd agreed a deal with Rwanda. That's why. But at the same time, bitch, what? Now, he has asserted the bill is still not, it's not watertight, but he has got this through 3 readings in Parliament, which means there's only one real obstacle left for him to get the Rwanda bill, the safety part anyway, through the whole thing, whole process. And that is actually where the problems now will reside. It's the House of Lords. House of Lords are an unelected body of people who think they act in the better interest of the people. Problem is, they're all out of touch and don't understand the people in the slightest, right? They legit don't. They did it during Brexit, and in some instances, I actually agreed with them because Boris's and Theresa May's bills weren't great. Theresa May's was the worst one, but Boris wasn't exactly much better. But I thought it was hilarious that, he's Prime Minister, to be honest, because it's Boris and he's great. To laugh at, just to be clear, he's a great orator. But in this instance, Rishi has a problem. Now, he said that the House of Lords have to vote it through because it's the will of the people. Not necessarily true. Not necessarily true. I mean, there are a lot of people in this country, certainly blue-collar workers, who do not want these boats constantly coming here. France won't do anything about it, and so we have no options. We have to do something, or be seen to do something in the government near election season. Want to be seen doing something. And I understand that. I 100% do, but they're not going to do anything because they're useless. They really are. So, he has 3 times been trying to do this. It was originally announced, by the way, by Boris Johnson in 2022. Yeah. And I think, it was about 2 months later or something that the first Rwanda-bound flight from Britain was meant to leave. It was halted by the European Court of Human Rights, the ECHR, that said that one of the seekers was at a real risk of irreversible harm should he end up in the East African nation. Hi MJ, hope you're well. Hello, exceedingly curious. Don't courts judge the laws of parliaments? Parliament doesn't like how judges interrupt laws wrong with changing the law. So I don't disagree with the changing the law. I disagree with the fact that they're voting to say, but you're wrong, so we're now just going to vote to say you're wrong. That to me reeks of wrong.
Right.
Changing the law is one thing, but to change the law just to spite the court is the problem, which is exactly what they've done. I, by the way, don't like illegal immigration in the slightest. I can't stand the constant boats arriving near where I live in Kent. I mean, I see the boats. I really do. I don't like it. But I do think that this was done to spite the court only. And House of Lords sounds very highfalutin. I don't know what that word is.
I don't know what that means either.
No, I don't either. Sorry. House of Lords is a joke, but they're quite set in their ways and difficult to work with. But that might make it easier in the context of them trying to get Rishi to perhaps justify why he had to, solely to spite a court disagreeing with him, create another bill just to make it a decreed point that Rwanda is safe. Let's go to Rwanda crime rate.
What is it, though?
Well, the crime stats is it's going up, but it's not that high to begin with. Let's see. Why? Oh, crime is low in Rwanda because they use police force and security services to tightly control the area.
Okay.
I don't know much about Rwanda beyond that. Fancy, pompous, self-aggrandizing. Oh, thank you there, Director Arcata. I appreciate that. Look at that. I've learned something. I appreciate that.
You know, if anyone was going to know, it would be him.
It was going to be him, yes. I appreciate that. Right now, there's no safe route or processing centers, no capacity to apply. I agree. This is where the issues are, Ola. There is it's not a win situation, is it? And that's very important to acknowledge. And for those on Rumble, the comment reads, but now there's no safe route or processing centers or no capacity to apply before you get here. Yes. The funny thing about the application process, I remember somebody, not really close to them anymore, but they were trying to get here legally, and they applied. And the system took ages, and when they finally looked at the person's accounts to make sure they had the money, they looked in the wrong fecking account. They were so incompetent, they denied it, but saying she didn't have the money, but the money was literally sat in an account. They just checked the wrong one.
I love government. Said no one ever.
Yeah, they don't have the capacity, but then they can't increase the capacity because if they increase government spending, then they're called out for that. They're wasting taxpayer money anyway because they're gearing up for an election. And this Rwanda bill is getting pushed through as quick as possible because he wants to be seen to be doing something now, because then he can say he did this. But if Labour win, they'll turn it around anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And they will. I don't necessarily disagree with this bill, but I don't agree with how they've implemented it, because that's just not healthy in the slightest. And processing centres, to be honest, a lot of people they've been processing, air quotes there, highfalutin. No, not really. Sorry. We're not. I'm too working class for that. Well, just my fellow Americans being uneducated on the British system. I used to watch when Meg did PMQ streams. That was a while ago, Chaos. I like PMQs. I had considered bringing it back, but for Rumble, because I don't get views here for that. Maybe. But I also stream a lot and make videos a lot, so finding time is quite tricky when I burn out, so I don't want to risk it. Anyway, yeah, the way they used to process was send people to really fancy and expensive hotels or former army barracks. And the hotel ones were hilarious because then you got videos of people complaining that the hotel rooms weren't big enough, the Wi-Fi wasn't good enough. But they're in hotel rooms that are better than most people's homes. Like, what did you expect? I'd be happy with this. I
wanted everything.
Apparently, yeah. I mean, I would love to have that hotel room. Oh, it's not the fanciest, of course not. But I just don't. I don't know. I'd expect a warm meal, a roof over my head, and a bed to sleep on, right? While I then seek to get processed, do my work, and possibly get a job, you know?
Well, that is the intention. We have similar problems, though, because we have individuals who, even here, who don't seem to understand that, the things that they are asking for are not possible.
It's certainly it's a fascinating interpretation of what one expected the culture to be and what one thought they could get out of the system. And I understand, you know, I if I moved to another country, I would surely only go there because I want a better life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is this really worse than the life you left? And I've seen some TikTokers, actually, this ties in handily. Some some TikTok streamers who have been, they're in a Middle Eastern country, quite clearly, but they're filming inside a tent that's flooded and they're begging for donations and bits. and in Arabic. I can't speak any of the languages. It's hilarious to me because I'm sat there like, you're getting hundreds of viewers, and obviously at this moment in time, I'm one of them. You're getting some bits here and there. That's fine, you know, money's money. But you're streaming to TikTok on a phone, and you're asking for donations. You have access to that phone and the internet, but you're asking for donations, and you don't think that might look like a bit of a con. Also, your feet don't look as pruny as they would if they were in water that much. Like, bitch, I'm smart. I know things. I could be wrong. Maybe there's a Middle Eastern like genetic trait to just handle vast amounts of flooding in a tent. I don't know how.
I'm not so sure, but there's a craze right now with streamers going to places that they shouldn't be. That kind of gives me that kind of vibe. The same like, you know, hey, give me money type of stuff.
It's not for me. I don't like it.
But I'm not saying that these are the same thing. It just it strikes similar in how it's described. But we should move on to the topic before we get too wrapped up.
Oh god, yeah. Sorry, I got sucked into that. Okay, so
Rwanda.
This happened quite early on last, 3 days
Monday.
ago. I think. Yeah, it was really not that long ago. I saw a poll. I saw some numbers. Can I read the numbers to you?
Please.
Ryan Binkley, 733 votes. Vivek Ramaswamy, 8,079 votes. Nikki Haley, 20,024 votes. Ron DeSantis, 22,395 votes. Donald J. Trump, 53,444. And I don't know if this is the complete vote, but he won by 50.9%, and the nearest was DeSantis at 21.3. So the Iowa Caucus, 104,975 votes. I'm sure they'll get redone for some kind of election fraud. Voted, and 90% estimated report at that time, with those votes I've just read out, Donald Trump resoundingly won the Iowa Caucus.
Yes, he did.
And shortly after, Vivek Ramaswamy on Twitter wrote, and this is quite well done, this entire campaign is about speaking the truth. We did not achieve our goal tonight, and we need an America First patriot in the White House. The people spoke loud and clear about who they want. Tonight, I am suspending my campaign and endorsing Donald J. Trump, and will do everything I can to make sure he is the next US president. I am enormously proud of this team, this movement, and our country. It has been seen 14.3 million times, not bad. And underneath, you have many say Vivek for VP or for press secretary.
Actually, not a bad idea.
I agree, actually. Press secretary would suit him, or VP. Well, I think Tulsi Gabbard might be the option for that. He wants a woman. May as well go with her. It'd be funny. She beat Kamala in the past. I mean, she'd smack the crap out of her this time.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Suddenly, that's not a bad plan.
I saw on Threads, because I got curious. I went there to see how they responded, and people were getting really angry about one picture. It's actually a video of Donald Trump getting out of an Escalade vehicle. Escalade, whatever. Yeah, big ass car, right, with a huge amount of pizzas, right. Somebody had tweeted, Trump is carrying around 8 pizzas like it's nothing. Biden would faceplant with more than 2. And people were like, this is not the own... It's an work server, the tweet. People were like, this is not the own you think it is. It's actually, the video's there. Oh, I can play the video. Where is it? Is that it? There it is. Right, hang on. I've got the video. It's 11 seconds long. I'm going to put it on the screen for everyone to see. Here we go. He's delivering pizza to a bunch of firemen. That's all he's done. And I thought it was hilarious. People's response to it was beyond salty. It was just so salty on Threads. On Twitter, people just laughing at it. Like, yeah. I'll be honest. People underneath that tweet are replying saying it's 8 pizzas is nothing. I'd like to now say to you, 8 pizzas carries a fair amount of weight. It's not.
I mean, it's got weight, definitely.
Yeah,
it's not nothing. Was it all one-handed? Or was it two-handed?
Two-handed.
Okay.
But I would say
even still,
it's still weight, but you also remember if you're doing it two-handed, you're leaning your arms forward, which means you're putting pressure on your back regardless. At his age especially, that pressure will be noticeable. Like,
I mean, honestly, thinking about it, like, let's say my grandfather was, his age, right?
Yeah.
I would also be extremely concerned if that man was, like, right? Like, if my grandfather was carrying 8 pizzas, I'd be like, sit down, I got it.
If I had one, my response would be, player, let me get a seat. Because honestly, my granddads were tough. I never ever thought of them as old. I always thought of them as one of the lads,
Well, it's not really even like a I don't.
Also, it's a respect thing, isn't it? It's a respect thing, isn't it? Yeah,
it is also that. It's like, I don't want you to.
I guess I never got to experience that because
all.
mine died when I was a lot younger, so I never saw them differently, So I understand that, though. I do get it. And in the chat, solid politician optics. You're absolutely right, it is. And give them cake. MJ, I completely agree. Cake is fantastic. In fact, I'd like some too as well. Please get me some.
And also, let's remember that he's delivering them, you said, to firemen?
I think so. It looked like it, yeah.
Very good. Because that is always a good play, right? The moment that you start to...
yeah, they're in front of a fire truck.
The
tower?
Moment, it was probably because a lot of the... in certain cases, some places that do voting, right? They are usually like fire precincts. It's not always like a town hall or anything like that. But yeah, you do that, right? And not only are you ingratiating yourself to the, I will say, like, the most kind of working class, being that a volunteer who puts themselves literally in harm's way to protect their town, their city, their precinct, right? You are quite literally playing to the most, the best case scenario to plead your case, in my opinion. So I'm totally down with him doing that kind of a thing. I think it's genius to do so.
Based on the replies underneath, it's like a newer version of Pizzagate all over again. People are just so triggered by someone tweeting about 8 pizzas. Oh, but can he ride a bike? Oh, but it weighs half a gallon and a half, or half a gallon of milk. This isn't a flex. My life. People are so pedantic on Twitter. It's hilarious.
They definitely are that.
The Iowa Caucus happened. Donald Trump won. We knew who was going to win. We all knew it, and we knew it was going to be resounding. Has anyone else pulled out yet, other than Vivek?
No.
Really?
I mean, a couple of the other randos, who are at the bottom.
Ryan Binkley.
I think he's the only one who's still in the race.
You'll be kidding me. He's got 733 votes. He got 0.7.
He doesn't have anything to lose at this point except for his own self-worth.
Nikki Haley should pull out. She should pull out 100%. She's not going to win. And I don't know why DeSantis is still there. He's not going to get the votes from the others.
I mean, true. One of the biggest issues with Haley right now is that the moment that the Iowa caucus ended, and I knew this was going to freaking happen.
Yeah.
The moment that it ended, I knew in my heart that the Democrats who had been hyping up this, this day, right, that they were going to lose their shit, first of all, which they did.
Yes, I saw. It was quite delicious.
And then they would, move on immediately as to why it didn't matter.
Right.
And so what you had was the night of, you had folks like Rachel Maddow on MSNBC who refused to air his victory speech because
false information.
Yes, we don't platform false information. If there's anything newsworthy, we'll report it.
Let's talk about that for a second. You are not the arbiter of truth. You are a news company. You've just shown everyone your bias and your colours.
Oh, not even that, but like petty, dude.
Well, it's not. No, it is a very big fundamental. I have a tweet for that actually. Victory. Oh yeah, CNN. First of all, CNN did a poll asking voters in Iowa, "Do you think Biden legitimately won in 2020?" How do you think they voted?
I think it's 68% said that no.
No, you're correct.
Was I right on the number?
Yeah, it was 68%. It was so close to 69. Where was it? I had a tweet for it. It was hilarious. Rachel Maddow trying to justify it. It's like, you can't be the arbiter of what is or is not fact. Not like that, because I saw a few trends of interest, like Trump 2024, Vivek Ramaswamy, Iowa, Biden, and obviously the Emmys, but because I'm sure about that. They did, yeah, but it's only because Better Call Saul didn't win anything after all those, just, and that pisses me off. But yeah, Rachel Maddow did actually say what you said, and I'm just like, you're a joke. There was a video Laura Loomer had tweeted out, where he took to the stage. I thought I'll put it on, but I'm not gonna play the audio of it.
Mm-hmm.
If I can mute it and go back and full screen it, I'll go to the screen and we can just talk while it's playing, if that's all right.
Sure.
I mean, it's a nice, quiet evening, really. But Trump did win, resoundingly. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts about this? About Trump winning?
So I did not have a really much of a doubt.
Hi, Brian. Hope you're well.
Mostly because if you look at like what you had going on in Iowa, first of all, this is typically a very rural, as many of the left-wing media sources would like to tell you, very white.
Yes, it has to be reminded to show you just how lacking in diversity it is, because diversity.
Oh, and not only that, but the contempt that exists amongst these people for people who live in rural areas is absolutely fucking disgusting.
It is. I'm going to stop playing that because I don't want to get hit with a copyright claim.
Sure.
So let's come back here.
But the contempt that these people show for people who live in areas that are less diverse or just not cities, right? They would actually just like castigate you and tell you that you're worthless.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of attitude is why Trump did perfectly fine in that area.
Yeah.
Like, that is what you show to other people.
Yeah.
Not only that, but these people in Iowa look at what happens to the rest of the country, right? Iowa does not have the same kind of metropolis, New York City, Indianapolis, that kind of stuff, don't have that kind of experience as many of the left do. When you have people who literally only get their information by either A, listening to a news source, but then also talking with one another about their experiences and what they think, then you will be able to get a much more diverse thinking, a pool of thinking, which is very clear in the fact that at least, I think you said 20,000 people voted for Nikki Haley?
Yeah, 20. No, 19,000, I think it was 19.
Okay.
I'll confirm.
So there were people enough who thought,
20,024.
Okay. So at least, individuals totally did look at it, and they got to make that decision, and they got to actually have a discussion about the situation. And of course that means that you have actual thoughts going into these things. Like, I'm not upset with the individuals who voted for Nikki Haley. It was their genuine thought process that made them think that was a worthwhile thing to do. Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Then you have the individuals who also voted for Ron DeSantis and Vivek and all that stuff. Vivek had a different kind of experience.
I liked him, to be honest.
But I it should also be noted that the one county that Trump didn't win was the one with the university in it.
So Chaos in the chat says that Iowa is actually pretty progressive as far as Midwestern rural states go, just from a subjective experience. That's cool, because then this is still fascinating, really, isn't it?
Oh yeah, they are. They are historically actually a state where underdogs typically win.
Also, G-Dubs had mentioned that typically the Democrats, or some Democrats, or progressives, typically hate rural people, but pat themselves on the back for going to farmers' markets. These are the same types of people that would shit on the farmers, which is why farmers in places like France throw their shit at government.
Canada.
They hate their farmers.
Oh, they hate everybody.
They do.
They hate themselves. Really, they hate themselves.
Well, fingers crossed they learn their lesson, and next time they have an election, they bloody well do something.
But yes, Chaos is right. They are pretty progressive. They usually vote for underdogs. In 2016, they actually voted for Ted Cruz.
Did they?
They did. Following this, right, is going to be the New Hampshire caucus. Oh, also important to note, it was like a blizzard, in Iowa.
Yeah,
like,
I've heard.
I believe the night of the caucus, with wind chill, I think it was like -15.
Crisp.
Very. Which for reference for you guys, I think would be like, I want to say like -7.
Yeah, it is.
CS to Fahrenheit.
It's -7 though. It's what,
is it?
Yeah, it's like minus. It's what 34 is 0 or something here. Or
Oh
something?
no, it's -26 Celsius.
My
What?
apologies. I don't know.
What?
Clearly, I don't know the conversion as well as I thought I did.
Oh my god.
That's nice and crisp. That's all right. That's t-shirt weather.
Oh, that's. Yeah, I knew a
shorts.
dude who.
Shorts and t-shirt, flip flops.
I knew a guy who actually would fucking wear shorts in that kind of weather.
Hi.
Psychopath.
What? Don't be so mean to me. I'm nice to you.
I mean, it was affectionate.
Don't forget to spoon me later.
Later. But yeah, so if you want to talk about like some people have pointed out that like this selection of people who voted is like a fraction of the total population of Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah, but caucus goers usually don't. It's usually not a very large amount of people who go to caucuses. Like that's not unusual.
It's more of a gauging response thing, though, isn't it, for the party?
Yeah, really, and it's for the people who want to be like especially like involved in the process.
Yeah.
Like I know a person who I work with who deals in our state's Republican Party, and I have occasionally been like, oh hey, so what'd that do? What's up with that? Because I would love to get involved because I would love to change those people.
Yeah.
To be less like little bitches. So that is part of the issue. So they're saying, okay, well, 0.0125% of the population of Iowa were the ones who came out and supported Trump. I'm like, yeah, that means that like 99.7% of the rest of the state just didn't care enough to vote against him, but also didn't care enough to go and brave the Iowa weather to go and vote for him. Sure, there are two sides to this coin, but either way, your candidate didn't win.
They did not.
So Nikki Haley, regardless of what you might think about the situation, she didn't win. Though she did say, as soon as it was over, that it was now a two-person race. I want to remind you, she came in third.
She's not far behind DeSantis, but
she came in third.
If she's saying it's a two-person race, either she's pulling out or she doesn't acknowledge one of the other two people in it.
She definitely doesn't acknowledge DeSantis.
Not a fan?
Well, I just don't. I think they have conversations amongst one another, and I think that remember the Chris Christie hot mic moment?
Oh god, yeah, that was great.
Where they said that DeSantis was going to pull out after Iowa. I think she may have Freudian slipped there.
Oh, she actually thought he was going to pull out.
Yeah, I think it was an accidental oopsie daisy.
Clearly, his pull-out game ain't that strong, man. He should have pulled out, though, to be honest.
True, pull-out game not so strong.
F, of course, for DeSantis' lack of pull-out game.
Yep, true. But either way, now the conversation for everybody is, well, New Hampshire also has a history of underdogs. It's not over yet. Donald Trump doesn't necessarily mean, he's not necessarily the nominee just yet. Meanwhile, everybody with a functioning brain is going, yeah, about that.
She's had a few faux. No offense to Nikki Haley, but she's had a few faux pas so far. I hope she's in the New Hampshire caucus now, because I think it'd be fucking hilarious. See how many more nonsensical bullshittery things she can pull.
Good question, honestly. I would love to see. She's already kind of still gotten flayed for like. Oh, actually, she did have one gaffe post caucus, or it was like right before the caucus, in which she said, "America is not a racist country."
Oh, that's such a loaded thing to say.
Well, no. I mean, the statement that she made is totally fair and fine. What I think is really funny is that why would you say that? Know that they already hate you and that they want to make you look bad. You did the Civil War thing. Why are you still feeding?
The Civil War thing was the funniest. It's loaded. You did it on purpose to bait. I think she completely undid herself there. Mm-hmm. It's intentional. I think she's trying to appeal to what she considers the rational-minded people, right? The red pills, yeah.
I guess.
And I understand that, but casual voters don't fall into these brackets. You need to appeal to the core base of your voters, not try and get involved in like online culture war shit.
But she desperately wants to avoid that. She desperately wants to avoid it because she wants to play the part of the middle of the road, will work with Democrat type person.
Yeah, basically a bitch.
Yeah.
Because as well established, people love working with each other when they're not in the same party.
Oh, they totally do. Especially because we just had a border bill that, I don't know if you saw all the tweets that I kept blaming.
I saw.
Because people kept posting about how, the Republicans, they shot down a border support bill. I'm like, yeah, okay. Show me what was all in the bill. Now, of course, the text wasn't fully released yet, but the
bills
bill
are
also,
massive.
Yeah, for obvious reason too.
Yeah,
it's because you're not supposed to actually, read them. Genuinely, you're not supposed to read them.
Yeah, I know.
And for whatever reason, somebody thinks that it's a wise plan to push forward with an agenda that specifically avoids actual accountability for your actions.
Mm-hmm. There is something I want to talk about in the chat quickly. First of all, Chaos has said that Trump is a shoo-in, and I hope DeSantis isn't the VP nomination. I hate DeSantis. I don't believe DeSantis will be the VP nomination. I think Trump can agree with that.
Agreed.
The second, from Director Arcter, still can't grasp how Trump derangement syndrome beat out Trump anxiety disorder. They actually canonized it in therapy. That does not surprise me at all. Because the Trump anxiety disorder thing was it was people thinking he was going to push the button on nukes. Yet the person causing the most damage in the world from war is Biden.
True.
And Obama before Trump.
Those pesky facts.
People were so angry that when he met up with Kim Jong-un, yet he was doing more to bridge that gap. And now look at it; it's dead in the water.
Yeah, actually, that's a sad thing because
that's a recent thing as well. It's more recent.
Yeah, we could have been doing a lot with that. We could have been helping
reunification.
Calm. Well, we could have been calming the tension in Asia. Instead, we've been amping it up. I mean, even last week when we were discussing the Yemeni airstrikes,
we were talking about and that's actually a great example of it because I'll quickly tab over. Mm-hmm. Here is our Rumble, 16 followers. Okay, 14. But here's the thumbnail. It's Biden, and there's behind him explosions. Why? Because he's ordered so many airstrikes. The silly bitch cost you millions from the Afghan pullout. His pull-out game's as bad as fucking DeSantis.
Or Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley has an excuse. She doesn't have a dick.
That we know of.
True.
Go follow us on Rumble. It's literally political recap show. Yeah. These are sexified. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But
when is the New Hampshire caucus, by the way?
This one's actually a primary, so this one is a little bit more official.
Oh right. Marvelous.
And I believe that is this Tuesday.
Oh sweet. I'm looking forward to that.
Let's see here.
I'll have a hangover then, but I'll be able to pay attention.
Oh, lovely.
I'll be drinking quite heavily on Monday. Johnny Walker.
Good. New Hampshire primary election 2024. When is it? Shut up, USA Today.
While he does that, the Whiskey Stream on Monday is now in the chat. Please consider going and giving it a like. We are trying to get more people involved in our Whiskey Streams. It's Johnny Walker. It's going to be a banger.
Tuesday, January 23rd. So yes, it is
Sweet.
Next Tuesday.
I'm looking forward to that. Did you sorry, hang on, phrasing this. How do I go? Do you see Trump winning the primary?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
here's real quick. Here's why.
Go for it.
Nikki Haley has been campaigning on reforming Social Security and Medicare. The average age of people in New Hampshire is like 60. Their majority, the average, is beneficiaries of said social programs.
Yeah.
It would not be wise to necessarily tell them that what they bank on for their living condition is going to be reformed. I don't think that she'll have nearly as much support as she expects.
So I expect her to pull out on Tuesday then.
I think she's going to lose and then pull out. Yep.
Cool. Okay, well, are we here next week, Trups?
I believe so.
Sweet.
26? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to have to vanish, I'm afraid, folks, because Trups has to do adult things and Meg needs to do sleep things, like burrito things. I are burrito. I have a unique burrito tactic. I wrap myself up in a weighted blanket while wearing an Udi. Yeah, the massive fluffy ones. And I wake up in the morning with a dead leg and it poking out of my bed entirely in the air like an antenna with no sock on it, and my foot is frozen with pins and needles in it. But the rest of my body's nice and toasty, so it's okay.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with your Udi and your burrito.
I are burrito, yes. Thank you for being here, folks. This will be on Spotify tomorrow and on Rumble. Do go give us a follow on both platforms. We haven't gained any followers on Spotify in a while, but of course we'll keep trying. And we'll see you all on Friday. Say goodnight, Trups.
Good night, Trups.